listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh, glad to be with you here today. It's going to be a fine Monday, November the 21st. Glad to be here with you. Glad you're here with me. Either you're listening on the radio at CKLU 96.7 FM or streaming online at cklu.ca. Clicking the Radio Player Canada app and opening up the player so that way you can stream it. Or if you've downloaded the Radio Player Canada app by clicking on it, hitting download, you're listening to us, or you can listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. So however you're listening to us, welcome aboard this morning. Thanks for being here. I'm glad to be here with you. And hopefully we'll be able to have the comments from our live stream on Facebook and YouTube, which we do. YouTube. We have Brian joining us on YouTube this morning. It looks like he's in red. So good morning, Brian. Thanks for being with us. Brian's been on the show quite a bit lately, and glad to have him. He's a really great co-host, and he has some specialties as well when it comes to technology and things like that. And he is a veteran as well, so he was a really welcome guest on our Remembrance Day week theme last week. So it was really great to have him. And he's on YouTube, which not too many people join us on YouTube every day, but yeah. Hopefully that will change, or it can change at some point anyways. So yeah, we're here. We got the comments loading up and able to get them on the screen. You could watch us live at facebook.com/YouTube, facebook.com/Sudbury News, or youtube.com/Sudbury News. It is Monday, and I'd like to say happy birthday to a very special friend. Somebody who's been following this show since it was Sudbury Sports Talk back in 2017 on CKLU, and Isabel Brown, one of our diehard listeners, been listening to the show since the beginning, and I would say one of the number one listeners and fans. So happy birthday, Isabel. I hope you have a very, very enjoyable day. I don't know if it's okay to say, but she doesn't look a bit like it, but she's in her 90th year this year. So, happy birthday. Brian's chiming in again and says, I'll join in the headline shortly. Oh, so you're going to come on today too. Okay, not a problem. Sounds good. I'll have to enable that in order to take place, which I can do because I have the power to do that. There we go. Cool. So let's get started with some of the weather. We got some sports. Sudbury Wolves are in action. Sudbury Cubs are tearing it up. Sudbury 5 have some tryouts where you yourself can actually go and try out for the Sudbury 5. You might laugh and say, as if I'm going to play basketball like I do. I'm laughing at that. But if you can play basketball, you have an opportunity to be playing with the Sudbury 5, which is kind of neat. So I wish the Sudbury Wolves would have that. I have a recurring dream where I got a chance to play on the Sudbury Wolves, even though I'm 50 years old. And somehow they have this new rule in the OHL, according to my reoccurring dream, where it's okay to have an overage player, like extremely overage. And I get a chance. The dream is the kind where you never actually get a chance to play the game, but you're always putting on the equipment and you're getting ready. It's always getting ready, but you never actually get to get down there and actually do it. But hey, this is a dream where it actually can come true for you if you can play basketball. We'll have more of that in our sports segment. But first, let's get to some weather. and then some sports. And then we got to unpack quite a few headlines from the weekend, one of which are the Auditor General's report on Laurentian University. Some more facts on that have come through. So we'll be back right after this and the weather. Sudbury Weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. Current conditions negative or minus, as we say, -6, feels like -13. There is some light snow going on in certain places. Humidity 91%. And today we can expect periods of, yes, snow, but we got lucky. So we were forecasting all kinds of snow in Greater Sudbury over the last few days, over the last week, but I think we got lucky. Unless you're a snowmobiler and you're praying for snow, we didn't get much. But today they're expecting the amount of 2 to 4 centimeters. Wind 30 to gusting to 60 coming from the southwest. Then later northwest gusting to 50 late this afternoon. The high, though, will be +1 today. And the wind chill, though, will feel like -12 this morning. Tonight, mainly cloudy, 60% chance of flurries early this evening, clearing near midnight. The wind will just be moderate. The low will be -12 with the wind chill. -7 this evening, but -15 overnight. Tuesday becoming cloudy in the morning with 30% chance of flurries late in the morning and early afternoon. Then 70% chance of flurries late in the afternoon. Wind will be up to only 15 kilometers. So light winds, high of -2. Wind chill -15 in the morning and -4 in the afternoon. UV index, obviously, in these times of the season are very low. It's 1. Your extended forecast, Tuesday, as we mentioned, high of -2, 70% chance of precipitation, mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday, November the 23rd, -1 is the high. Thursday, 30% chance of flurries, high of +2. Friday, 60% chance of flurries, high of 0. Saturday, 0 as well, 60% chance of precipitation. So it looks like they're forecasting some snow, moderate temperatures. And then on your Sunday, that's clearing a bit. But, when we get that far in the forecast, it's really hard to tell. Your weather, looking over the satellite view over northern Ontario, it's regular mix of sun and cloud, mostly cloudy with a few clearing spots. So it's always the same. Never seems to change in terms of the amount of cloud cover and activity. But your Sudbury weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca, which lands on sudbury.news. Always a work in progress, so make sure to visit there and see if it's something you like and send us a message of how we can improve that website. We'll be back with a little bit of sports after this. Yes, the Sudbury Wolves were in action this weekend on Friday and Sunday. Unfortunately, bad news. So if you didn't know the scores already or know the outcomes of the game, it was a close one. The first game against Guelph. But unfortunately, here we go here. Wolves started strong. Against Barrie. Wolves started strong, but the Colts break free in the third. So we had a 3-1 lead for most of the game on Friday. And third period, which I was only able to catch the third period, which was the downfall of the Wolves. The Colts made a huge comeback, eventually winning 4-3. But it was a close one. The Wolves fought a good fight. For me, Game could have went either way. And then Sunday, more of the same against Kingston. And, shots were like 50-something to 20 in favor of the Wolves, but we ended up losing the game 6-2. But have a few highlights from that here. And Natalie says, though, but thanks, I really appreciate it that you were surprised that I was 50. I want to drink the water you're drinking. Well, it's well water from, naturally filtered through sand in the valley. So, but thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And good morning, David. Thanks for being with us. I don't know if all y'all were able to catch any of the Sudbury Wolves game, but here's kind of what it looked like on Sunday.
Trying to clear it out, he can't. Goes across, Williamson steps in, Williamson scores for Kingston, making it 1-0. Getting up there in the top half, and there's a shot, our Curry, 17.
So the Sudbury Wolves ended up losing 6-2 against Kingston to conclude their 7-game homestand. Alex Azadorian and David Goyette scored for the Pack. Jacob Holmes, Evan Konyan, and Nick DeGrazia and Quentin Musty had assists. We also have some post-game from Azadorian and our new coach here in town, Derek McKenzie. So unfortunately, the Wolves losing 6-2, but oh my goodness, the Wolves bombarded Kingston, but their goalie was just stood on his head, and there was nothing the Wolves could do there. It's surprising they even got 2 goals past Kingston's goalie, but here with more is Alex Asadorian and Wolves coach Derek McKenzie.
Yeah, as we said, that we had a positive mindset in every period. In the room in between periods, we're just focusing on just keep getting pucks on them, and eventually one's gonna go in. But obviously we got unlucky today. I feel like we outplayed them in their end. I feel like we were all over them in their end at times, and I just feel like we got unlucky, and their goalie had a great game. Obviously, we just got to stick together, continue to gel, and I feel like we're going to win games together, not as individuals. And I feel like if we just stick to the same game plan and just keep playing our game and, helping each other out and staying positive, I feel like things are going to run our way eventually.
Well, I mean, obviously it's early for me, but as far as I can tell, I thought the guys did a lot of the things that we asked them to do. Obviously, their goalie played outstanding in the first couple periods. But we generated a ton of chances. It just seemed like, we had a couple bad breaks go our way, and we weren't able to recover from it. Yeah, I mean, we really haven't been able to cover half of the stuff that we need to go over. I thought the stuff that we have covered in the short amount of time, the guys are starting to apply it. I said before I really met any of the guys that I'm not, sure I love to win, sure I'm competitive, but it's going to take time for us to be that team that down the stretch is going to be a team that can be resilient in situations like the other night against Barrie, and then find ways to close guys out. At the end of the day, we created a lot. We got to find a way to capitalize on our scoring chances. I am excited to get back on the ice tomorrow. We get a good week of practice and then get back to work. And I mean, of course, yes, I love getting on the road with the guys and getting to know them. And sometimes that's where you kind of find yourself. So hopefully this road trip is a positive one for us.
So Sudbury Wolves struggling still, but as head coach Derek McKenzie alluded to, it's a work in progress, and that's what they were expecting going in, to this game. But he's doing very good as a coach. Looks a lot like Ron McLean. I don't know if anyone else noticed. He's looking a bit Ron McLean-y these days, and I wouldn't have expected that. But anyways, last time I saw him, he had a big old beard. So Sudbury Cubs, on the other hand, smoking it. They're just tearing up the league. 18-2-6, I believe. What's their record? Sudbury Cubs. We have so much news here that we got to get to. the last game. They came from behind to win against Elliott Lake Red Wings, and basically back and forth. It ended up in a shootout, but their current record is 18-4-2-0. So just amazing, doing amazing. Sudbury Cubs, a little bit different from the Sudbury Wolves, but congratulations to the Sudbury Cubs. They got their new goalie as well. Came in from the Sioux Fire or Thunderbirds, rather, and just doing amazing. So congratulations to the Sudbury Cubs. And we talked about the Sudbury Five with their tryouts. Sorry for all the scrolling, everyone. If you have some kind of motion sickness, I know probably wouldn't help. But anyways, the Sudbury Five season is approaching. If you think you have the hard court chops to suit up for the Sudbury Five, the team is giving you a chance to put your money where your mouth is on November the 26th, noon to 3 p.m. The team is holding an open tryout at Collège Notre Dame. The Five haven't held open tryouts since their inaugural season in 2018-19. The season is fast approaching, and the Five still have a few roster spots remaining, said Sudbury Five head coach and general manager Logan Stutz. I'm excited to see who comes out, and I hope to see some great talent from Sudbury and all of Ontario. Many players lost opportunities due to COVID, and this tryout gives them a chance to be seen. Those interested in registering for the tryout can do so. Just open up the link that we shared from Sudbury.com or go directly to Sudbury.com. On the article, the link is there, and it costs $100 in advance or $150 HST included at the door. Participants at the tryout are competing for 2 available training camp invites with a roster spot potentially up for grabs. So there you go. If you don't make the team, you still get out there, you have a good time trying, and that's what it's all about. And CFL, the Toronto Argonauts upset the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in their third straight Grey Cup appearance, trying to make the dynasty, the 3-in-a-row championship thing happen. But it was a huge upset. Toronto beating Winnipeg yesterday in the Grey Cup. I was very surprised to see, here's the Grey Cup, and they're panning. They showed like an overhead cam of the seats, and many, many seats empty for some strange reason. So let's say it was 3/4 full, but I was surprised if that was the Super Bowl or whatever. Good luck even getting standing room in the parking lot, for crying out loud. But anyways, it's the CFL. It was freezing cold. It was in Regina, and it was, as far as I know, it was a good game. I didn't get a chance. I just kind of saw the little bit of the opening, and that was pretty much it. But the Toronto Argonauts upsetting the Winnipeg Blue Bombers yesterday. We'll be back with headlines and Brian Poulin when we get back. Sudbury Sports, brought to you by SudburySports.com. Randy Pascal, he's that Sudbury Sports guy, and he is he's everything SudburySports.com. He's the writer. He produced it. He's the brains behind it. So get out and support local sports by checking out SudburySports.com, and you can basically see everything from minor sports all the way up to the Five, Spartans, and Wolves. So we'll be back with everything, headlines, and Brian Poulin after this. Good morning, Brian. How are you doing today? I don't hear you, but I know you can hear me because you waved. How's your
Good morning. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought about playing some basketball at 50, but then I thought about it again, and no, I
Yeah.
don't think I'd be going for that. I don't I'd see myself coming out of there wounded somehow. But
See, the difference between the Sudbury Wolves and the Sudbury Five, first of all, the Sudbury Wolves just don't open it up for anyone to come and try out, but they have an age like cutoff, and I'm not sure if the Five do. I don't think they do. So, Brian,
not sure.
come on, man. You can get out
But
there.
I'll take my chances in the
try.
barn, though. I'll take my chances in the Sudbury Wolves barn.
Yeah. Going to a 5
That'd be
game's a
worth it.
totally different experience than going to the Wolves. Have you been to a 5 game yet live?
No, I can't say I have. No.
It's really cool. If you haven't experienced it, which you just said you haven't, you got to get out there and try it out. It's Wolves
Really?
games are cool to begin with. Sudbury 5, it's a whole new experience. I'd even say it's even more exciting, the atmosphere.
Well, I like live sports, so if it has that sort of ambiance, and because basketball, it's fun to watch.
The whole arena is transformed. Like they got the they take out the boards and they put seating, court side around there. They have a bunch of banners on both sides, so they don't have seating on the ends. They just have seating on both sides. So it has this more compact, fuller feel to it. And it's just, it's just a whole different experience. It's a whole different night out. So yeah.
And so what do tickets go for roughly?
You know what? I don't know that per se, because when I get in as I'm a reporter,
Right,
so
yeah.
I've got in and whatever and to cover the games. But I would tend to think they'd be right around the same price as the Sudbury Wolves ticket. But yeah,
I'm gonna have to give that a try then.
I'm sure you go to the 5.ca, THEFIVE.ca, and yeah, and then you could also see what seasons tickets prices go for, which are also pretty cool, right? A lot of people love season tickets, and they love to be on the floor or up in the box. It's basically a prestige thing too. You say, look at where I'm sitting, stuff like that. But you don't need one of those seats. Every seat in the house is a great seat.
I don't need to look important. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got really good at not looking important my whole life. So yeah,
Right.
well, I start now.
Okay. Well, I take after the best of them, I suppose, when it comes to that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
no, I just put myself out there. The INTG that I am.
The INTG.
The introvert, my Myers-Briggs
Oh yes,
scoring, or not scoring, but initials. And
for your
says,
profile.
in business school, we did the psychology of difference. So it's very similar in terms of personality. And,
personality
how
profile.
those personalities interact with different, scenarios, scenes, people.
So Diane's saying good morning,
Fun
good
stuff.
morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, it is a good morning.
Tempers.
I'm just hoping that the snow continues to not bombard us. And with that, the city is getting ready, though, just in case, which they should, which I'm glad they are.
They are practicing.
City of Greater Sudbury prepares for winter maintenance season. More than 50 city contractor snowplows, graders, and other winter maintenance vehicles were out practicing, yes. Learning their chops, getting to know what's going
It's
on.
a good thing. Good
is.
refresher before the season hits,
Yeah, exactly. Now, there was that strike that was looming as well, right, Brian, for the education workers. So far, so good. They've reached a tentative agreement, which then at least, they will be going to work today, but it's not signed yet.
Tentative.
Yeah.
So it goes to a vote.
They have to vote on it still, yes. So we'll just hope that they are able to come to an agreement for the kids' sake, and everyone can continue their education without being hampered. Santa Claus Day Parade went ahead on Saturday.
Great.
Were you down there, Brian, at all for the Santa Claus Day Parade?
Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it, brother.
Yeah, well, a lot of
Although
people were.
It looks like it was fun, judging from the cover picture here.
Yeah, there's CTV did a little thing on it, And basically, if this is the right story or not. I know sometimes I share a certain story. It's not the one with the video. Yeah, it is. So here's they're gonna have a commercial first. But anyways, which they usually do. And I'm gonna turn off the volume while the commercial goes. But the Santa Claus Day Parade went ahead. It looked like a lot of people had a very good time there celebrating downtown. And Santa himself showed up as well, which is great because he's busy this time of year. And he was there for Sudbury Santa Claus Day Parade. Here you
I
go.
wonder if he was on the NORAD radar there. Usually.
Yeah, here it is. Look,
thousands of people.
Thousands of people.
Just head downtown to the core. More than 50 decorated floats took part this year.
Oh, what a
theme
cool
was
looking
Grooving
float,
with
man.
Santa. Both kids and parents in attendance say they've missed watching because of the pandemic over the last 2 years.
Great to be outside with everyone, and
And
course
Doug Ford
to see all
was
the
there.
different floats, and of course at the end the grand Santa.
I'm excited to see
Yes, there he
Santa.
is.
That's probably the most exciting part of all of this. And hearing music.
I'm very excited to see Santa, and I really want to see my friends.
This is pretty exciting. Like, we've been in lockdown and it's so fun to be out and to do stuff and to see everybody together. It's just really exciting. The kids are super excited.
Yeah, sorry. I was just kidding. That wasn't Doug Ford, but he looked a bit like Doug Ford.
It did.
So I
actually.
have to
It
say,
did. And then I was like, no comment there, Dougie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
No.
So
my
that
apologies
looks
to
like,
whoever that gentleman was, but he
imagine
looked a
how
bit
they
like
must
Doug
feel
Ford.
having, yeah, he looked at him. I tell you, he was a dead ringer. But, it must be nice for all those people that have gotten out. And,
Yeah,
this
for
last
sure.
2 years. Yeah, that's right. It was no show. Nothing missed by myself, but for those that like that sort of thing, great, awesome.
I don't know what happened, but there's all kinds of comments coming in while we were chatting here. $23 for tickets for the 5, up to $50 for courtside. Okay, a little bit more expensive for the Sudbury 5 tickets from the Sudbury Wolves then. And North Bay also got dumped on yesterday or Saturday with snow. About 2 feet of snow. Ouch. So North Bay got it too. I'm glad we didn't get it. Diane says Cape Real or North Bay had Santa Claus Day Parade as well. And then Cape Real is also looking to have their Santa Claus Day Parade or Santa Claus Parade this year as well. So if you want to get another, if you missed the Sudbury one and you want to get a parade in, Cape Real is going to be having one as well. Here's a little joke I shared. Here's the picture. I don't normally, every once in a while I'll share a little humorous thing, but
occasionally, yeah.
If you didn't get a chance to see it, here it is, and over the radio we'll see how it translates. So here, there's an old farmer who writes to his son who's in prison. And he says in the letter, "Dear son, this year I won't be able to plant potatoes because I can't dig the field by myself. I knew if you were here, you would have helped me." That's the end of his letter. So the son, he writes back, he says, "Dad, don't even think of digging the field because that's where I buried all the money I stole." End of his letter. So the police read the letter because he's in prison. He's writing to his dad. The police read the letter, and the next day the whole field was dug. The police were looking for the money, but nothing was found. The following day, the son wrote again and said, "Now plant your potatoes, Dad. It's the best I can do from here." So I thought that was funny. Anyway, so the son's in jail. The dad writes, "I can't dig without you here. If you were here, you'd be able to dig." And the son said, "Well, Dad, it's no use digging. That's why I buried all the money." And when you're in jail, your letters get censored and whatever. So they read that. So all the police went down and dug the whole field looking for the money. Well, now it was all dug for his dad to plant the potatoes. So I thought that was an interesting, funny little thing. I had to share it. It was just an impulse.
It's just one of those ones that took me. I had one yesterday. It took me a few minutes to figure it out. And
well, some jokes are like that, right? Because sometimes we zone out halfway through or something, or we don't really get the context. So Val Karen will have a Santa Claus float going around the streets. Interesting. Natalie says Cape Rail Parade is on a Sunday this year, Sunday, November the 27th, which I believe is this Sunday coming up at 5 p.m. Tree lighting and candle walk at 6 p.m. Parade and fireworks even, and then a warm-up party upstairs at the arena. Ever cool. Yeah, I'm really glad that, a lot of us are getting back to doing things like that and bringing the community together. It sounds like it's going to be a really great time.
Nice to see, yeah.
And I would think anyone's invited. You don't have to be from Cape Real to go, right? So you can go out and experience Cape Real. And they also have a really cool museum there. And if you've never been to Cape Real, it's great to just get out there and check it out. It's they got their own little downtown going on.
Support the hospice, man.
And with that, I might as well share the story now that we're on Cape Real. A business that's been there for over 40 years, or nearly 40 years, Lynns Place, is closing its doors. For nearly 40 years, Lynn Mazuka has been the cornerstone of the community with her clothing store. And I do remember I lived in Cape Real, actually lived a couple doors down from Lynns Place, right on Yonge Street. And it just seemed to be it was always going to be there. So they are closing. So this might be your last chance to
40
see
years. It. What a milestone.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a long run for sure. And a clothing place in a place like Cape Real too. Not the easiest place.
So not the easiest business to open up.
No.
Definitely not.
So this is really cool. Yeah, this is really cool here. So $7,200 raised for the hospice.
I remember a lot of these, businesses that were around when I was a kid. These were family businesses that, they had already been around for 30 years already. Like for instance, Sunbeam, that's literally part of my childhood. And then when you think about it, it's like 85 years and it's just no longer there, and there's so many of those places. And,
yeah, time changes.
Yeah,
things
40 years, time to retire. Yeah,
things move on. So let's Localicious. I don't know if you've ever heard of Localicious. It's a group of restaurateurs and entrepreneurs. They raised $7,200 for the hospice, which is really great. They could obviously it's a wonderful place, and many people who I've known who've had loved ones there have only said good things about the hospice and the care they've received there. And so it's an amazing cause. For now, Paul Lefebvre
I hear nothing but good things as well. So.
For now, Paul Lefebvre will have to be content with regular mayor powers. Province passes strong mayors Building Homes Act, but doesn't include Greater Sudbury yet.
Read that. That just popped out, and then I just sort of skipped over the whole thing after that. I was like, wow.
Coming soon, though, I think they're just starting with a few major cities, and then I think the secondary cities will be coming next.
Well, I know that our new council definitely lots of work to do.
One of the comments there, though, was I thought I saw a comment saying, "Okay, but let's just work together, anyways. Like we should, and we wouldn't need a mayor with more powers if everyone just did their thing." Right. Ontario's top doctor seen at crowded party maskless. So Ontario's top doctor, after urging Ontarians to wear their masks, went to a fundraiser, I believe, right after almost making the announcement. And he and nobody else, I think I saw one person in a picture that showed more of the attendees to this fundraiser wearing a mask. So it doesn't look like too many people are adhering to his strong suggestion. Even he
looks like a nice soiree.
Yeah, it is.
It's a networking event.
Yep. And Maria says just exercising his right that the quote unquote fanatics are pushing. Right. LOL. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Don't know 100%. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. No better than Justin Trudeau, which is kind of true too, because when he mentioned that everyone should be wearing a mask on public transit. He went on a train right after that without wearing a mask. Similar. No big deal. It's not mandated. And then, so what? Someone said. Well, they said so. So here's interesting. We're hoping to get Judy Strawn on the show. She just wrote a play based on Bert Collins' song "Little Skadoo." Are you familiar with that song at all, Brian? "Little Skadoo." It's up to you.
No, it resonates, but I can't
put your finger on it.
No,
well,
I can't. It resonates in my head. So
here's Bert Collins live at the 1985 Christmas Lions Club Christmas Telethon.
A blizzard struck one Christmas Eve, and snowflakes filled the sky. Old Santa Claus was forced to lend, his reindeer couldn't fly. He crashed his sleigh into a drift beside a farmer's shed, and he spied a little snowmobile, and this is what he said.
Oh, little Skadoo, it's up to you. You're the only one in all the world can hope to get me through. A little Skadoo, a little Skadoo, it's up to you. It's up to you. I've a million toys for girls and boys, I don't know what to do. A doodle-dee, doodle-dee, doodle-dee-doo.
Yeah, so the sound quality back then could have used a little bit of help mixing. But again, this was done on the fly, and it was done with volunteers, and it was, but that's the song. Do you recognize that song at all, Brian? Little Skadoo?
Yeah, I'm sure my parents must have put me down in front of the TV once or twice because it still resonates, but not something that I would have remembered it unless
many people from this area. It actually caught on in this area, and I believe in this area only. I don't think it went on any further than regionally. Bert Collins, I think there's a tie to Espanola area, and there's kind of like the North Shore, Greater Sudbury area, so local enough. But the song didn't really get much further than this area. But really, it became such a huge part of so many people's childhoods because it got so much radio play, and here they were on the telethon, and even Diane says, my daughter loved that song. I have the CD. Yep. And now Judy Strawn has developed a play around this, and it's, I believe, a fundraising opportunity. If you listen to CKLU, we have the commercial for that play in rotation. And we're hoping to have her on the show. I sent out an email yesterday, and her just explaining what the play kind of entails and where she got the inspiration, and a little bit about her. And it's not her first crack at making plays either. She wrote a Case of the Missing Mayor about one of Sudbury's mayors who went missing way back when. Huge story when it comes to local. She also made, I think, a play about the missing A.Y. Jackson painting stolen out of the Sudbury Secondary, I believe. Again, and if I'm wrong on any of these facts, I will be corrected. But anyways, Judy hopefully will be on the show sometime this week or next week. She has her Eastlink show too, called The Judy Show, and she's had a show on CKLU for some time as well, talking about the arts. She's hugely involved in the arts, and she's a real mover and a shaker in the community in terms of the arts, and so it would be really great to have her on the show. So we'll see if she gets back to my email, and if she's interested in doing that, it would be really great just to know the background that she about making this Little Skadoo play. So we've already covered these. Now, a little bit more information has come out on the, the Auditor General release the report on Laurentian University. We got a little bit of time here, so let's dive right in. So this is from the, I believe, from Tom Fenske. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name correctly.
Let me.
Fenske. He's the president of Laurentian University Staff Union. So this is some of the remarks he has, but the headline is infuriating. Strong reactions after the Auditor General release Laurentian Report. After release of a long-awaited document this week, Laurentian Staff Union President says public inquiry could be the next step. So just before we even get into this, Brian, do you think there needs to be a public inquiry on top of the Auditor General's report? Do you think that would be needed? Do you think that's what people want? Again, like, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I tried unfolding this weekend, and I'm so conflicted with this.
Okay, so you're not sure is what I would say. Now,
I would say public inquiry. I mean,
yeah, me too. I'm all
I
for.
just see the word report, and right away I'm like,
yeah, I think the report could be a strong element of the inquiry, but Tom thinks.
I would say let's do a public inquiry. I mean, let's just crack this thing open and let's go.
Tom Finks also says that's a great idea. He also felt
in a year for inquiries.
It's a year for inquiries, exactly. So why not have one here? I think there's more of a reason. There's a lot of people feel there'd be more of a reason here than there is for the Emergency Act, I think. But at the same time, Tom Finks said that he felt like a roller coaster of emotions in reading the Ontario Auditor General's Bonnie Lysak's report.
117-page report.
117-page. It was released November 17th.
To say what?
Well, it was,
sorry for that was rhetorical.
Laurentian now expects to finally exit CCAA proceedings this month after reaching a debt plan known as a plan of arrangement with its creditors early this fall. Fensk says the vindication comes in because Laurentian had suggested that a significant cause of its financial decline was labor costs, specifically faculty. So that's what Laurentian was saying when they were going into bankruptcy, that, oh my goodness, look at all the costs we have from faculty. But Lysak said in her audit team, in her report that her audit team found that Laurentian's overall faculty costs did not surpass those of comparable universities, and that the costs associated with LU's senior administration climbed. Listen to this. So the cost of LU's senior administration climbed about 75% between 2010 and 2020. So let's just kind of look at that again. So the faculty costs were basically in line with all other comparable universities. So no difference there. They had this comparable faculty amount of people and what they were getting paid on par with other universities. This is where they were overspending, though. Watch this. I already said it. We'll just repeat it. 75%, the senior administration costs went up between 2010, 2020. Now it gets even juicier. Lysak also pointed to poorly planned and costly capital expansion and modernization as the main cause of Laurentian's financial decline between the 10 years, 2010 to 2020. They began to amass more than $87 million in debt to pay for the capital expansion, making a series of questionable financial and operational decisions, including amending its internal policies to allow it to incur even more debt. So they actually changed the laws, their policies, so they can go further in debt easier. So like, wait a minute, we can't do this. It's illegal. Wow. Let's just change the law. So anyways, the report said to remedy the long-standing financial situation, senior administrators and the board, guided by external legal counsel, strategically planned and pursued restructuring under CCAA. So they did it on purpose. They went headlong into bankruptcy going, yeah, you know what we need to do? Just build the living daylights out of this place. Buildings. And then we're just going to go bankrupt anyway. So we'll have a bunch of buildings at the end of the day. We'll get a slap on the hand. Now I'm just putting words in someone's mouth. But I'm just
a lot of fraud going on there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, that's exactly the word, fraud, exactly. That's why we need a public inquiry, because there's illegal type things going on, or at least nefarious things, at least things against ethics and policies, and just there's a lot of questions.
Practices.
Accounting practices
comes into question.
Exactly.
For sure.
So again, it wasn't labor costs. It was senior administration. Also, people got robbed of their pension plans too. Through all of this, the retiree health and benefit plan is one thing. Yeah, she outlined that in her report that Laurentian failed to keep the RHBP funds protected in a distinct trust. Instead, they commingled these funds with Laurentian general funds. So they were supposed to be earmarked for benefits, but they just threw them into the coffers, into this general fund. Kind of like our government does, when our taxes, we just pay a bunch of taxes and they put it into just a giant vat of money, and then they just distribute the money how they feel, which I don't.
Without earmarks, I
never felt that was a good way to go. Not transparent whatsoever.
I don't think I'll be getting my business degree from them. I'm going to have to change my plan a little bit because I'm going for the CPA, so I want to become a chartered professional accountant for the last of my maybe 15 years or so, and
for sure
on the forensic side too. And I'm like, okay, I got my forensic accounting degree, part of it from Laurentian. Of course, I would have to get my real CPA from Toronto, but wanting to put that name on my resume at this point, not so sure I want to be doing that.
So along with them sinking this benefit plan for faculty, for employees, the senior administrators were given $2.4 million in discretionary expense accounts without a policy outlining what these accounts could be
without policy
spend on. Here's $2.4 million, and you guys can just spend it.
Use
just
it
spend
as
it.
you wish.
Yeah,
just by slipping.
Those.
No policy. Don't worry about policy on what we should do with this money.
$2.4 million in that. Well, I guess there was a lot of senior administrators, so there's so many of them that if you divide it up, maybe it was only 100,000 each or something that they can just spend on whatever they wanted.
Nonetheless.
Yeah. So that to the head of the union there was infuriating.
I was just about to say I feel infuriated.
Yeah. So another thing, and I don't know if it was in this article or not. Yeah. So the administrators who caused the crisis should be held accountable, he said. He said his union will also be looking into complaints of negligence for those who failed at LU if they belong to a specific professional regulatory body. So they're going to go to the regulatory bodies they belong to and say, you really want this person in there, having done these things? Don't you think they went against things? And this is the real clincher here. Friends also had some thoughts to share about Dominic Giroux, Laurentian's president from the years 2009 to 2017, which are most of these years in question, because they're talking about 2010 to 2020. So basically, only 3 of those years he was not there. He was there for the majority, and his name is rarely brought up at all in these discussions, which covers the majority of the years LISIC's audit team were examining. Giroux is now the president of Health Sciences North, Sudbury's hospital. He said that based on the report, it's clear that Giroux, quote unquote, wanted to do the things the way he wanted to do them, unquote, without following proper procedures. Laurentian University released a statement Thursday saying that it embraces the Auditor General's report, and they're looking at, kind of taking their suggestions and moving with them. So clears the air on many, many issues. This is what Jeff Bangs said. He's now the is he the head of the board, president of the board? So it clears the air on many issues, he said, adding that he's been working on with LISIC to answer some of the tough questions that she's had over the past 6 months or so. Now, I know the union is suing the university for this money that they should have had in their, part of their benefits. So that's going to be another cost to Laurentian. Laurentian. So Jen is sharing some stuff here. Laurentian's president and vice chancellor from 2009 to 17, Dominic Giroux, was given merit pay awards. Yeah, I was looking for that very thing in this report. I was kind of skimming for it.
Merit pay award.
So he was given basically money for each capital project that he approved. He was given a
merit
little
pay.
Merit pay. Yeah.
They call that merit pay.
Yeah. So he was given pay awards tied to pursuing the very capital projects that became significant contributing factors to Laurentian's bankruptcy. So he was, basically getting a chunk of change for every capital project that was. No, that needs an inquiry, obviously, right? No accountability for that. Like what? Shouldn't he pay the money back?
No,
at least
there's definitely accountability. Yes.
So this is a crime, Jerome says, and the people involved should be charged.
More than one crime. Yeah, more than one crime here.
Yeah,
committed.
There's many things.
Lost breach of trust. A breach of trust in some provinces is punishable by minimum sentence.
Yeah. So Franz Jelena was basically chiming in on this thing too, obviously, because she was very vocal, because NDP usually are very union supportive, right? They support unions. But, some questionable things there. He was also...
there's definitely a lot to discuss there.
Oh, so Jen is saying that that Dominic Giroux was also getting money like 3 years after he left, about $100,000 per year. That is just, it's just
mind-blowing,
terrible. Like it's oozing with just like grossness all over this whole thing.
No kidding. Yeah. I think you just described it there. Yeah.
So Jelena says like they had a few months, but nobody understood the severity. She's blaming the government too, that the government should have acted on this. It's not just the so Sudbury Nickel-Belt MPP Franz Jelena said the report shows bad decisions that Dominic Giroux, the former president of LU, made, as well as the university's board of governors. But she also reserves criticism for the Ministry of Colleges and Universities, which, because she has to criticize, because she's in an opposing party, which had what it termed, quote unquote, a lack of urgency about the situation. The ministry was first informed in August 2020 when that LU was considering CCAA filing, something that eventually came to pass in February. She said, like, they had a few months, but nobody understood the severity or didn't react in a way that was in line with the severity of what was about to happen. Lysak's report offers recommendations not only to Laurentian, but to what the province should do differently. So the report also says maybe there was some things the province could have done differently in this situation. But I would have to say, for the province to stand up a little bit for the province, when was the last time you had a university making a conscious decision to go into bankruptcy and going headstrong into it, and then going to the ministry and going, oh, look, we're in trouble. You need to help us. Give me a break. If I'm the province, I'm going, yeah, right. Look what you just did. What's going on here? Now you want us to bail you out? Like you obviously made the decision to go. This almost sounds like a political thing to then turn it on the province and blame them or something. Jelena said she's had a chance to speak to her colleagues with the governing progressive conservatives, and they're keen to make changes. Sudbury.com reached out to the Ministry of Colleges, and they received a spokesperson's response from the ministry, basically saying, we've done all we could. We're going to look at this and then at the report, and we're going to make any changes if needed based on the findings. And then Jelena also chimes in and says, although some people in the community are calling for a public inquiry, I'll read this again. Although some people in the community are calling for a public inquiry on Laurentian's journey under the CCAA following the release of the report, Jelena said her questions have been answered. Meaning she doesn't think there needs to be a public inquiry.
10-4.
Yeah. I wonder why she thinks there doesn't need to be a public inquiry.
I wonder why.
The MPP is a member of the Public Accounts Committee that commissioned the report in the first place. So you'd think she'd want more further accountability. She also said, we know that what led Laurentian into the disastrous path. They did not have to go down the CCAA path. They chose to go down this path. Let's make sure that no other university is ever allowed to do that ever again. So again, now she admits. So even though she reserves criticism for the government, she then admits they chose to go down that path. So what was the province supposed to do?
In between there, yeah.
You know. Anyways, with this, Brian, we're gonna have to leave it there because we're out of time.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
We are out of time.
We are out of time, and time just goes by so fast. But at least we got through the headlines. We got to the main thing. We did a deep dive. Thanks everyone for your comments. Miles gets the last word. Giroux is likely a friend of hers. Possibly, yes. They all go to the same parties and have the same friends in this community, right? But thanks for listening to us. Thanks, Brian, for being on today. Thanks for jumping on. And thanks all y'all for being here today. And we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU. Have a great one and stay warm and stay safe. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.